This is a V8 Jetsprint boat. They almost defy physics and are the most dynamic watercraft on the planet. They are capable of reaching speeds of up to 80 miles an hour in less than 2 seconds. They'll pull more G-forces than an F-111 fighter plane on takeoff. The acceleration is quicker than a NASCAR and with substantially more horsepower. An unlimited V8 Jetsprint boat has up to 1,600 horsepower and no brakes. The men and women who race these boats are certifiably and justifiably requiring mental analysis. Ladies and gentlemen, you'd better hang on to your children because these methanol-sucking monsters are so powerful, they will suck small animals from trees and spit them out of the exhaust pipe. If that doesn't make the hairs in the back of your neck stand up, you'd better go to the doctor because you might be dead.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Jetsprint Show. That's right, the show where we talk to the characters of jet sprinting because, as we know, sports builds character, but it's the characters that build and make the sport. And we have a character who has been a president. He's been a boat builder. He has done just about everything in the world of jet sprinting. Chris Kent, welcome to the Jet Sprint Show, mate.
How are you, mate? Good to be on air and finally be interviewing.
Mate, it's been a while since we've worked together. Of course, we've done a lot of commentary work over the years, including, a World Series and a fair bit in Western Australia. And we've had a little bit of fun along the way as well, mate.
Yes, Cavi, we've done a fair bit of talking and a fair bit of wine drinking.
Actually, that brings me to my first topic of conversation, mate. I do believe that we're going into the wine business, you and I, and you're going to produce the stuff, and I'm going to label it. I think Caveman's Plonk is how we're going to market it. What do you think?
You have suggested that that'd be a good idea, and Cavi, it may be in your world, but I was thinking about taking you on as chief sampler, just fly you over once every probably 3 months because it'll take me 3 months to recover, but we'll sit on the veranda and have a bit of a bloody session, just test the wine.
Mate, that sounds absolutely brilliant. Look, I'm happy to forego my label to put on my own business card, Chief Wine Taster.
That's it, mate. There must be a good title for that, but Chief Wine Taster sounds like it. As long as you don't get the coronavirus, mate, and lose your taste, you'll be buggered then.
Oh, yeah, no, we don't want to be dead, mate. No, we don't want to be dead. Hey, mate, we're going to have a quick flick. You sent us a few photos. We're going to have a look at a photo here. And, mate, tell us about how you met Pauline Hanson.
Pauline jumped on the plane to head to Melbourne there. I think it was only last year. And, in she waltzes with her entourage, and I think she had 2 people with her, which was probably not such a big entourage. But anyway, she sat down behind me, so I said good day to her. And when the plane got in the air, she was sitting on her own, and I turned around and I said, "Hey, you want to have a chat?" And anyway, she smiled and she said, "Yeah, I'd love to." So I sat with her for a fair while, and she's not a bad chick, hey? She's politically, we all struggle a little bit with her. I think her ideas are a lot like a lot of us, but it's just the way she expresses herself probably that brings her undone. But short and long of it was, we had a good old chat. She's not a bad lady, and said goodbye at Tullamarine, mate.
Mate, it's great to hear that, one of the most divisive figures in Australian politics is a wonderful lady. And I think you're right. We weren't going to go down the political side, but while we're there, I fully agree with you, mate. As soon as, we've all got a lot of the same beliefs, and I think you're absolutely right. Now, mate, we're going to flick in very quickly into this next photo here. And this photo here it shows your boat, Crazy As. Now, this water, incredibly red. Where is this taken?
That's up at Newman, mate, or what used to be Mount Newman until they dug the mountain out. Now it's called Newman, but very, very red water in the outback.
That is just the contrast of the yellow and the red dust and the red soil, and people who've travelled into outback of Western Australia and indeed the rest of Australia know that red dust and gets everywhere. So how much work did it take to clean the boat after a meeting up there?
Mate, it does take a bit. The red, it stains a bit, and it gets into everything, the dust and the dirt. Like, the other track up there, Karratha, both tracks, you used to, the dust from cars, and there's always a wind in the outback during the day. So yeah, by the end of the day, mate, I think you just, your teeth are crunchy, everything's crunchy, and takes a bit to get cleaned up, but by God, it's good fun up there.
Oh, mate, it's probably one of the few tracks that only recently shut down that I've never got to, and I'm really disappointed I didn't get up there. But you talk about the red dust. I remember many years ago when I was travelling and hitchhiking around this great country of ours, and eventually ended up in Queensland and sat down to a meal at the pub, and it just didn't taste right because there was no crunch of that fine sand and red dust in me parma.
That's it, mate. That's it. That gets into every orifice of the body, let's say.
Mate, now you've been a president of the West Coast Jetsprint Club. You've also, you were a boat builder, of course. Tomcat was the name of your boat, your label, and you put a lot of people into jet-sprinting yourself.
Yeah, mate. I've always, I'm very passionate about the sport, love the sport. I guess with, my business, very well known, and a lot of people were really interested in what I was doing, the jet boating and, building the Tomcats. They were good little boats at their time, and, there's still a few in the water. There's still 3 or 4, I think, kicking around. And, God, I'd hate to think how many people I've introduced to jet sprinting, actually.
Like, every time that there's a meeting on, you're over there in WA down in the pits doing the pit reporting, and of course, the best pit reporter that we've got in the world. And mate, every time there's a meeting down there, unless something's happening, you're down there, rain, hail or shine.
Yeah, mate, love doing it for the club, and for years I did it while I raced. I used to jump in the boat, do a lap, then jump out, and the boys would sort of work on the boat. And it was a sort of a way of avoiding having to work on the boat, really. But I'd pick up the microphone and I'd go do my pit roving until it was my run next. So, we're heading back that way too, Cav. I hope to have a boat in the water this year, or this season coming, and I'll be doing the same.
Like, that sounds brilliant. And of course, you're teaming up with Ivan Safranak. And mate, who is going to be the A or the B driver? I've heard a rumour that you are going to be the B driver of that team.
Well, you probably have heard that rumour because Ivan likes to put that out there. But, I've told Ivan fairly firmly, mate, I'm the A, he's the B.
Righto. Well, I'll look forward to that ongoing argument, as I'm sure there will be plenty of laughs about that.
We have this endless argument. I like a foot throttle, obviously. He has a hand throttle. Mate, you should hear the debate on that alone. He is convinced I'm going with a hand throttle.
So you refuse to go the hand throttle?
I want both, just in case, Cav.
Oh, well, then fair enough. Geez, I tell you what, though, it might get used to, you might squeeze that steering wheel at the wrong moment and just give yourself a little bit of extra power that your foot wasn't giving you.
Yeah, I might go twice as fast too, using me foot and me thumb.
You're always up to something bloody sneaky, I'll give you that. And we're going to have a look at the next photo coming up on the screen. Now, talk us through this one, mate.
Mate, just having a rest, basically. You can see my hand down there on the ground, sort of seeing how far away it is. But Jesus, how many times have I done that, Cavi, in my years in jet boating? Had a rest upside down.
And how many years have you been involved in it, mate?
Mate, I believe I started in 92, 93. I'm pretty sure it was 92. I've got photos, going back to 90. Well, it actually says 93, but I'm bloody sure I started in 92. I bought my first boat was a, not very Chris Kent-like, but it was pink. And the overalls I inherited with the boat were pink also. And the boat was Sonic, and it was a heap of crap, mate. A heap of crap. Could not keep it in the water. It had nothing to do with me.
No, well, actually, I don't think I've seen a Sonic race boat. I don't know that I've ever seen one on the track in my 11, 12 years that I've been involved, or whatever that time frame is. So, yeah, they certainly didn't become an overly popular boat. And probably
back then, Cav, they were the boat. The Sonic
they were they?
Yeah, they were the boat to have, the old Sonics, back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, of course, as things have evolved, we've gone into aluminium and not fiberglass. So that was the end of that for them.
Yeah, it was, mate. I remember the guy who was particularly good at racing one of the boats, a bloke called Grant Eden, and sort of, I guess the end of the Sonic was he went and flopped a what do you call it? The super light caviar.
Oh, yeah.
The bloody whatever it is that
they
make aeroplanes out of it. And he went around the first corner and like he could pedal and the whole side of the boat caved and it went to the bottom. And I don't think I saw a Sonic after that.
Oh, yeah. No, the old, the Kevlar before the carbon.
Kevlar, thank you.
What you're talking about there, mate.
Yeah, so that was a hell of an experiment, that one.
Yeah, well, look, you don't learn anything unless you experiment, obviously. Mate, you'll have to excuse me. I've locked the dog into the shed so that she's not down the backyard chasing possums, and now she's down here. It just absolutely annoys me. He thinks it's playtime, but we'll sort that out. But we're going to have a look at the photo here. Sorry?
I was wondering what you were doing with your hand there, mate.
Oh, yeah, right, okay. Let's get the dog up here. So come on, pup. Well, let's have a look. Have a look at the screen. Turn your head around.
That's all right.
That's Medusa. All right. Geez, I tell you what, no end of professionalism in the gym here, Chris. You come into this gym here, mate, you work out to pass out. That's what we believe in here in Victoria.
That's it.
So just waiting. We'll have a look at what this next photo, because there's a story to tell here, mate. And at that, looks like the steering wheel, to me, is facing the wrong way.
Mate, that was probably, as you pointed out, I've been in the game for years. I've seen some horrifically big accidents, but very few people hurt. But this was Al Carr, who he bought, obviously a fiberglass boat, and back when fiberglass was it. And he came around the corner and the steering failed and he just went straight into the bank. And, that is the end result. You can see that is the nose of the boat. That's so the whole thing's sheared off and speared back. Al broke both ankles and lost a bit of skin. He was actually taking one of his mates out for a ride. The fiberglass sliced all the meat off his both that guy's shins, and they were sitting in the boat in a world of trouble. So horrific. It sends shivers up my spine even thinking about it now. Just the way they both were. They were distressed, and got them into ambulances and all that. But Al, he self-employed, has his own mechanical business, and in a wheelchair for months with broken ankles, and he had a few other injuries, and so that was how Al and we actually teamed up. He became my mechanic, but the deal was that he got to drive my boats. He was short of a quid, couldn't get back in. So Al and we A and B drove my boats for quite some years, and then his son came along. So we always ran 2 to 3 boats anyway in the Crazy As team. But that was poor old Al.
Geez, I tell you, well, you've got another interesting story to talk about at Temora, Round 1 World Series 2009. Everything going swimmingly. You had a new boat. You were looking like the dark horse to take out the championship that year. And your B driver, Al, he didn't do exactly what you wanted him to do, did he, mate? He clipped the inside, went through the safety fence, sunk the boat, And this is a touchy subject for you, but I've got to bring it up so often. You were not handicapped after he wrote off your brand spanking first time in the water boat.
Mate, there was a lot of dollars in that boat. That was my shot. That was my shot for the Worlds. And yeah, just I'd done 2 runs. Times were good, straight up, and was feeling very, very comfortable. We'd run the boat in a couple of races in Perth before we left. So, you know, the boat was beautiful. You know, a Sprintec set up by Peter Coey. So just ants pants, top of the line. Anyway, we get to Temora, and yeah, I did a couple of runs. Al was on his second, and yeah, just, you know, I guess I can't swear on your program, but he launched it, and you know, like, you know, shit happens, hey. But you know, poor old Al, he, you know, and I always carry on like a pork chop, but you know, I felt for him. I felt for him so much because he was just distraught that he destroyed my boat and our chance. But mate, they hauled this thing out of the water like it's sunk. It's rooted, you know, like motor, everything. And they crashed through the fence and went into the pits at Temora. So they sunk out of bloody sight, mate. People had to jump in and bloody release them both to get them out, Joe and him. So anyway, they get it on the trailer, they go and put it in the bloody tent, and I just had to bugger off. I went for a walk. I had to settle down. I came back, and some, like, you know how the crowd are, there's a bloody big crowd around the boat. The boat is destroyed, mate. The whole thing is beaten flat. It's fucked. And anyway, this bloke in the crowd says, "Oh, bit stuffed, mate." Well, I reckon that bugger's still running down the highway because, Jesus, my bloody hair stood on end. I reached for him. I was about to bloody hit him, and he took off. Oh, bloody stressful few moments, mate.
Well, that was, I was in the commentary tower then. That was a horrific crash. And then to see the outcome, and, well, that destroyed the chances. And when I caught up with Al at your 60th there a couple of years ago, I didn't recognise him. And because I dropped the magic F-bomb, my first time ever I've dropped an F-bomb while commentating. And the funny part was not one other person heard it except for the mayor of Temora and all of the people who saw the replay of it, hearing me drop the F-bomb.
No, it was worth the F-bomb, mate. It was a big accident, my God.
Oh, yeah, it was huge. But, you know, look, as we all understand, you know, you can rebuild these things, but look, you know.
No, couldn't rebuild that, Caffey.
Oh, no, true. Didn't TJ Tremaine Dukes have a fair crack at getting that back on the water, but it was never going to be the same.
No, it wasn't, mate. TJ cut it off at about the dashboard there, and everything behind it, we just, you know, made up new shit, welded it on. The motor, like, I searched all over Melbourne. We had bits from here, bits from there, and just threw it all together and raced at Melton. And yeah, just average, real average. Heartbreaking. The first run, I was nearly in tears, actually, when I got back.
Well, you know, that's what passion will do. We're going to have a look at another photo here because you've got a million stories and we've got a short time here. Now, tell us what we're looking at here, mate.
Mate, that's I used to work offshore oil, and that's the old regional endeavour. I started offshore about 73, I think, and worked through till I was 28, and what's that, bloody mid-80s or somewhere? Yeah. So early to mid-80s, and worked all over, well, not all over the world, but worked all around Australia, Southeast Asia, and wound up sort of, yeah, I did pretty well on the old rigs, wound up running a few and so on and so on.
Mate, you told me a story a few years ago, and you know, one of your first times on a rig, and you had some bloke there. He said, "Hey, mate, would you mind turning the hose on?" Could you run us through that one, please?
Jesus, you've got a good memory, Cav. I thought we drank a lot of wine. I didn't think you'd remember half of this stuff, but yeah, a bloke called John Ferran, American. You know, you come across Americans for the first time in your life, country kid, 17, you know, goddamn mother and all this stuff, you know. And anyway, this guy was an ex-Marine. He was probably about 40, you know how Marines are, got a neck on them as big as a tree trunk and all that. So my first job is the first bloody job on an oil rig is I teamed up with this guy and he said, we're going to wash the floor around the moon pool. So he says, turn the fire. He grabs the wet end and he said, wander off, grab turn the tap on and bugger off up the front and have a smoke. And I didn't smoke, but anyway, went up there, sat there. How long does a smoke take, Kev? A couple of minutes, wandered back. You know, I was in awe of this place. I loved oil rigs. Anyway, I'm walking back down and I can hear somebody going, hey, oh, you know, screaming his box off. I came around the corner and he's laying on the ground with his arms and legs wrapped around the bloody hose. Mate, I'm a country boy. I didn't know that fire hoses had so much pressure, and if you turned them on full on, they needed about 4 blokes to hang on to them. So... Anyway, he sacked me, the bastard.
I'm not surprised, mate.
No, get me job. But...
fire hose for 3 or 4 minutes, hanging on for his dear life, not trying, hoping that him and the hose aren't going to destroy the bloody rig. I'd sack you as well.
Yeah, no, lucky I ran into somebody on the way out who was higher up in the position and kept me job. But yeah, geez, could have been a short career, Kath.
Now, they also tell me that you had to take a rig up the west coast of Australia, and things onshore didn't go exactly according to plan.
Onshore? Refresh me memory.
Yeah, one of your mates that I met over there, you guys sort of got into Carnarvon, I think it was, and then you had a bit of a to-do, if you like, there on the when you were ashore, and there was rumours that you might have destroyed the town of Carnarvon.
Mate, Jesus, there's so many stories, and honestly, we shouldn't be talking about them, but yeah, there's stories about hire cars that we weren't game to take back. There was a couple of them, and there was a few. There were a lot of incidents in the pub with the locals, and there was a bunch of incidents on the aeroplanes too with the miners. Jesus, back in the days of Mickey Mouse Airlines, and used to get on the plane and you couldn't see because it was full of smoke, and they had a no smoking area, but it was ridiculous, wasn't it, in those days? The whole plane was full of smoke, and mate, too many stories.
Oh yeah, we won't go. Look, they're certainly after our stories. I just thought I'd lead you down the path there and leave people wanting a little bit more. We're going to have a look at the next photo here, and I particularly like this photo here. That's just your little runabout there, mate.
Yeah, Jesus, I love that thing, mate. You've had the pleasure of being on it, but that is the result of lots and lots and lots of hard work and sacrifice, mate. And it's the prezi to myself. And honestly, I wish I had bought one years and years ago, because it's just a beautiful thing. You walk on it, and it's like this involuntary. Your belly falls out because. You just leave everything behind. My life back when I had my business was, pretty stressful. So, I loved this thing.
And of course, that business was City Farmers, which you featured on all the voiceovers and did all the ads yourself, and were quite famous around Western Australia there for quite some time.
Yeah, it was, mate. Had the odd approach from Hollywood and all that, knocked them back. But it was... Yeah, actually, it's a bit of a bloody spot to be in when you're like that, because, I'm not one to be on my best behaviour, but during that period, God, I had to be on my best behaviour, because every sucker knew me. I used to go to, if I was at the pub and things were getting a bit fired up, people would, there's a bloke from, and I'd have to go, oh, shit, and, or at a restaurant, just had to behave, which was always hard, Kev.
Mate, for you, mate, I'm sure it bloody was. Hey, we're not far away from getting out of time here, unfortunately, but let's have a look at this. I think it's the last photo that we have in the list there. No. Now, there is the beautiful little Ruby.
Mate, that's I call him a gay dog. She's a good chick magnet, though. I used to take her down the street years ago, and all the girls would come up and, what a beautiful dog, and want to cuddle and all that. But yeah, there's a big story behind that too. She was out in the main road trying to get run over, and there's a hell of a story about how I caught her, which you no doubt remember. But she's, what's Rude's now? She's 16, 17 years old. So, and still looks like that. She's still got a puppy,
Oh, look, and she's funny, because her tongue hangs out the side. That's the best photo I've ever seen of her. I'm normally hanging out the side, dribbling everywhere.
Yeah, she lost her teeth, as you know, Cav, and as I said, I take her down the street for a walk every now and again, and her tongue hangs out either side, and people come up and go, "Oh, poor thing," and I sit back and I just say, "Oh, yeah, no, it's so sad. She had a stroke." And people, "Oh, Jesus," they fall all over her, but it's not true at all. She just hadn't got any teeth in her head to hold the tongue in.
Well, I'll tell you, mate, there's another little twist to the story. You're always up to bloody something, and So, mate, what's the plan for West Coast? Or is it just a holding pattern like everybody is at the moment, or have they got some sort of movement forward? Because you guys aren't in the lockdown as we're seeing, certainly in my state of Victoria here in Australia. But what's the plans, mate?
Mate, we had the wind up the other day, and we've had our AGM, new president, same president, so actually same committee, I think. But we look like we can go back racing, late October, early November. Touch wood, we don't have what you guys are having, but all go. And as I said, I'm looking forward to putting this boat in the water, and Ivan's. Hopefully he'll have it ready, and so I'll A drive, he'll B drive, as I said. But who knows, Cav? I just love the sport so much, and I want to have a crack. And I am so the reason I'm doing this is I am so supportive of this LS class, and so that was what I approached Ivan about. And I said, look, come on, mate, you're struggling a bit, so put one together for us, and he's enjoying that, and let's go racing. I'll either be a silly old fool, which I quite possibly can at my age, but anyway, I reckon I can still beat some of the young blokes, mate.
Oh, mate, and if you can't beat them, just beat them with a stick, because they wouldn't have been expecting you to beat them with a stick.
They've always got to remember I'm bloody pit commentator, mate.
Yeah, that's exactly right, mate. And he with the microphone wins, because, oh, geez, we can sell a few stories, can't we?
That's right, mate.
Hey, mate, look, it's been great chatting with you. Thanks for joining me on the Jetsprint Show. We're nearly out of time. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Caveman. That was Chris Kent. Thanks again, Chris.
Good on you, mate. Good to have a chat, and we should do another one. Oh,
mate, look, I agree, and hopefully I can come over there and take up the role of chief wine taster sooner rather than later.
Mate, I look forward to that. I really do. I haven't caught up with you for ages. You're a good mate, and enjoy what we do together. And let's hope Keith kicks off this year.
Oh, mate, let's fingers crossed, mate. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. All right, mate.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next time. Hooroo!
All right, Kev.